the halacha of having mezainas at the end of the meal, whether it's on Shabbos Yom Tov or by the chasanas, when they already finish the meal and they're bringing now dessert. If you have to make brocha on those things that come to the table as a dessert. It says like this in Siman and Tur, Siman Kuf Ayin Vov. Berech alapas, poter es aparperes. If you say brocha on the bread, the bread helps you to be moitzi the other brochas, parperes, which is the food that coming to with a meal. Davke parperes shoichel b'socha seuda. What kind of food that you don't say brocha after a moitzi, the food that comes in the meal. But there is a parperes, there is a dessert that comes after the seuda. There's two types of parperes. One is part of the meal, one is coming after the meal, that's as a dessert. Kodem birka samozan and the poiter. The brocha moitzi is not poiter. The things come as dessert. The ave kedvar maboim la'achar seuda kedel come on. Yeah, okay, that's already the next one. Okay, so according to this, anything l'choira come after you finish the meal as dessert, whether it's cake or ice cream or fruits, l'choira you have to say bracha on it. Okay. So the halacha, it's not poshut at all. Because the Beis Yosef brings like this. The din ze ha'acharon ena motzui benenu. The last din would say that you say brocha on dessert, it's not so common among us. Bezman hazeh levishen onu regilim l'mshachedenu min ha'pas ad birkas hamazon. Since in the time of the Gemara, they finished completely to eat, they used to remove the small tables, everybody the small table in front of him. Since we don't have such a small deal, one big table, and we usually don't finish completely to eat till we say bench. Anything that come during the meal, it's being yotze with the bracha of hamoitzi. Now there's another later on. Beis brings another. That means that you do say brocha whatever comes dessert. They didn't achron eno motzu beneinu. Rabbeinu kosav boy kmo shergilim b'sudas gedoylo is mashma shu motzu beneinu. So the choyer is like this. In one place says it's not motzu. Then it says like b'sudas gedoylos. Mashma in big meals like chasana, we still have the same thing. Meaning we're completely finishing to eat. There's no more food on the table. Now they bring dessert. So the choyer we do have it. So we do have it and we don't have it. Like I said, it becomes like a gray area. It says hainu bestam sudas didon shava bishe gomra suda enon moshchidom in a pas ad birkas hamozon. Regular sudas mashma Shabbos v'yom tov take. We don't say any brochas on dessert. So far, I'm not saying that's not the conclusion yet. But sudas gedas like chasana motzuyu. There is such a thing that we finish completely to eat. Now they starting a new eating of dessert. And it's not only brocha, the first brocha, you might have to say brocha achrona also. If it's bar nefashos, if it's ala michya, if it's ala gefen, if it's come to the end of the meal. So like I said, this whole thing is we're going to see, it's not as a poshut at all. Now, I tell you, to make a long story short, I'm going to go straight. Like I said, you could go back and forth. So I'm going to go straight to the Mogen Avram over here in Siman Kuf Samech Ches. I just read you from Siman Kuf Ein Vov. So the Mogen Avram, in a way, is like summarizes this whole halacha, and that's his conclusion over here. That's what he says over here. In Siman Kuf Samech, the Shulchan Aruch says, "V'ochilu b'soicha seuda shalom machmas seuda." If you eat them inside your meal, the things that are cakes that come as dessert, not because of the meal. I'm going to explain what that means. Not because of the meal. Shalom machmas asuda tunim brocha lifnei v'lo lacharem. Of there is said brocha rishoyna mezoynes, but not ala micha. So the Magen Avraham explains. Shalom machmas. What's the pshat? I'm eating mezoynes during the meal, not because of the meal. Pirush she'en ochlem lesoiva latainig lehakel mikoyva damaychel. If you're eating it because you're still hungry, for example, would be you're eating in a meal, and you part of your meal is tuna. Let's say you take a cracker, you eat with the tuna. You don't eat the tuna with a cracker for pleasure, for kinuach, for dessert. It's part of your meal. You're still hungry. Or for that sake, it would be if you take another piece of cake, you're still hungry. You didn't get lasoya. You're still not full. You want to eat. You're hungry still. You don't say bracha. But whatever comes, the end latainug as a dessert, as a pleasurable dessert. Lahokel kovad amaychel. You need something sweet to help you to digest the food. Then he says you say bracha lifneya, bracha rishoyna mazoynas, but not bracha achroina. Something would be ice cream. Nobody eat ice cream by the meal because they're hungry. You eat this as a dessert. So you say bracha she'akel, but not bracha achroina. Yeah, so that's the shita over here of the Magen. So mashal from the Magen Avram. Anything that come clearly as dessert, it's not coming because you're hungry. You're going to say bracha rishoyna. Again, how you work at all the different opinions and the contradictions of it. It'll be a long time to go through it. But that's a mashal from the Shulchan Aruch, and the way the Magen Avram explains the Shulchan Aruch, you will say bracha rishoyna, the things that are coming as dessert, 100% dessert. It's not, you're not eating it because you're hungry. So it comes out like this. The same piece of cake would be if you're eating it because you're hungry middle of the meal, you would not say bracha. If you're eating it after the meal as a dessert, you would say bracha. That's the shit of the Magen Avram. The Machzah Shekel brings over here that if you read, there's a long sheet of the Taz over here. It says like this. The Taz, it says choylek because of the totally bedaita. According to the Taz, it does nothing to do with the way you think. If I'm eating it because I'm hungry or I'm eating it as a dessert. According to this, it's totally in your diet dasa oichel. How you look at it. It says elatali b'shur achilosa. Im ochal dover muot vada lekinoch. I'm eating a little bit something sweet. It's definitely comes dessert. If you're eating a lot of it, it's machmasud, it's you're hungry. Now, it doesn't say what harbe over here, it's something gray area. Lamaisa, I'm going to see, it's kimat not applicable, but the Taz says, the way the poskim saying that the Rabbim is the Magen Avram is many more would side with the opinion of the Magen Avram. So we're going to see, Lamaisa, the sheet of the Taz, it's kimat not going to be shaykh of here. Now, I'm going to bring over here the shita. There's like I said, there's a lot of shitas over here. What you do lemaise. So since it's a totally machlokes with your mazonos at the end or not, here is what the Kaf HaChaim brings over here. He brings the whole. Like I said, there's a lot of contradictions over here. There's a lot of opinions over here. That's what his conclusion. Valken Yeresh Shamayim. Yetze Yedei Kulam. If you want to be yotze with all the opinions. Dainu. Imesh Badayda Kodem Suuda Lechal Paskisn in Besocha Suuda. If you're thinking to eat mazonos during your meal, he says, Oz Yichavan Bevirkas HaMoitze Lifter Oyster. When you say HaMoitze, have in mind, I'm going to be eating mazonos, and I'm going to be mechamet with moitzi the mazonos. Do in birach hamoitzi al pas kistan yotza. But yeah, but if somebody says hamoitzi al mazonos is yotza. K'mos k'sham neil ois mam gimel. V'im lo yevadayta kodem suda lechel k'dei lifter oisa b'hamoitzi. And if you forgot to have it in mind, I'm going to be eating mazonos in this meal, I should be yotza with my hamoitzi. Come to you after that. Oh, I'm going to eat the mazonos now. You didn't think about it before. Imu mina mesika. If it's very sweet mazonos, or metugan b'shemen sheochel lechel mano imapas, oz yasaken k'deshem midvarim aboy machmas hasuda shentrim bracha. If you're able to eat this mazonos with the bread, it becomes like part of your meal. Then do that. Then you don't say bracha on it. V'im lav lo yochelat achar birkas hamozon k'delot saliba dekula alma. So the way the Kaf HaChaim recommends over here, either have it in mind when you say moitzi, then you don't say any bracha on it. And And that's eitzah. It only helps legabe the cake, not legabe. That eitzah would not help legabe ice cream. Ice cream is definitely not. Nobody eats ice cream when he's hungry. So either have it, and if you didn't have it in mind, if you could eat it with the bread, eat it with the bread. And if you cannot eat it with the bread, then say birkas hamazon, then say brocha later. So according to Kaf HaChaim comes out. If you want to be Yitzhak, all the shittas, you're never going to say B'hora Minam Zoynes during your meal. Now, the shit of Aruch HaShulchan, he is a little bit easier on this. I'm going to read it inside. According to him, you would say brocha on it. Well, if we say, Gam b'chol pas habo b'kisnin, pas habo b'kisnin means Mezoynes. Hadin ken, shekshochle b'soch hasuda tzrichem brocha lifneyam. If it's 100% mezoinus, there's different. We're going to learn another shiur, but what's called 100% mezoinus, what's not. But if it's 100% mezoinus, if you're eating during the meal, you would say bracha. Aval be'emes lav klolu dot not birach ala passport as a parperes. U pirish tois v'serika gon nilosh u peres v'gam rashi peres al parperes gon kisne v'lachmaniyas ahenshom. Oh, b'yura the kenu. K'shoichel lemozon v'latafshil. That's what I suggest from the Mogen Avram. If you're eating it as part of the meal because you're hungry, because you need to get satisfied, you're still hungry. He says, birkas apas potarta. Then for sure you're not going to say mazoinas on it. Im kavanosel lekinuach v'latainuk ba'alma. That's exactly repeating the Mogen Avram. If you're eating it as a dessert, then the bracha of a moitzi is not moitzi the mazoinas. V'lezeis kimur of g'doyle achroinim. That he quotes over there, who's Gedele? Shlom, Mogen Avram, El Yerabah. Yesh Mishicholek, but the Taz I mentioned, V'alocha Kerabim, V'gam Asor, Noisan Kent. According to this, it depends on the which Muzoinus also. If it's a cracker, it's something, it's a Bichlal. If it's thing that not 100% Muzoinus, that's another whole another shiur that could be a problem. But if it's 100% Muzoinus, it's coming as a dessert, you will say a bracha after you finish the meal. So he also brings over here, depends also what kind of mazonas, like I said. If it's the mazon that's 100%, nobody would eat it when they're hungry. It's more dessert, more sweet. Then when you eat at the end of the meal, you're going to say bracha on it. Now, the Mishnah Berurah, according to him, he brings a lot of poskim would be not to say a bracha. He says the only time you would say a bracha when something comes as dessert, there's a lot of opinions what mezoinus. Something that mezoinus lekule alma and it's coming at the end as dessert, you will say a bracha on it. If it's a machlokes if it's mezoinus or not, but even clearly what it is, it's something completely has a lot of sweeteners over there, the chocolate, a lot of fruits, not something made like a bread with a little bit of sugar on it. So something is 100% mezoinus. If you eat as dessert, you would say it. If not, he recommends not to do it. There's one more eitzah from the El Yerabah that he says at the beginning of the meal, you should eat something like chocolate to say shahakal. When you say shahakal, sin brocha of shahakal is poiter hakal. Have in mind any dessert you're going to eat, you're going to be yotzeh without bracha of shahakal. Remember, it's be yotzeh also your mezoinus. Since it's a lot of machlokas, what you're going to say mezoinus or not. Okay.